I've been going through teams that, as we look at the next season and where rosters have been maybe fixed and not fixed, and this kind of just a general overview. And I thought, I haven't done a video on the Jets, and since things go in alphabetical order, mainly when I do the playlist, they go in alphabetical order. Jets fans might rightfully feel like, hey, when are we getting a video? So I double checked. I actually thought I had already done a video on the Jets and on the roster and how things look for next year. So I have to say this: their forward group is fantastic. This is an admirable forward group, and it's one of the reasons why I have faith that the Winnipeg Jets are going to get into contention at some point soon. The defense, that might still be an issue, and the defense has been an issue for them. And the goaltending really saved their backsides. Connor Hellebuyck absolutely saved them, got them into a position where, as we hit the pause, they look like they could very well make the playoffs. And so they're a team right now that doesn't have cap space, but Brian Little's going to be on the LTIR. But they're still not in a position where they're going to be trying to add any big money contracts. So their forward group, as I said, very, very impressive. Really like the forward group a lot. You've got Connor, Scheifele, Wheeler. That's your first line. Line A, Stastny, Ehlers. That should be your second line. That is a fantastic top six. Nick Ehlers, to me, last year had the best season of his career. I know that the offensive stats, roughly in line with other seasons, I thought he took that next step last year. Which is good, because as Wheeler gets older and his play is going to start to decline, because that eventually happens to everybody. Even Ovi's going to eventually have that decline. Crosby too. But as that happens, there are enough players in this lineup that can step in that it'll be okay. Kopp stands out to me as a guy who I think is better offensively than he's given credit for. You got Lowry on that third line and Roslovic. Now, there have been rumors upon rumors upon rumors that Roslovic may want out, that Line A may want out, that they may want to trade Line A, they may want to trade Roslovic. And if they do, they don't have to get a forward back, because you've got Perreault, Thompson, Appleton here in the fourth line. I think Appleton's shown he could be a third liner. Perreault's been a third liner before, and of course, as long as he can stay healthy, he can produce. But Jensen Harkins, I think last year Harkins showed a lot in his limited experience and his limited appearances for Winnipeg. He looked good, and he can play anywhere in the lineup. Then they added Tony Nato. The green asterisks are for players who were added. And down the middle, they added Stastny, Thompson, and Tony Nato. And then there's Vesalainen. The real wild card in all this could be Vesalainen. If Vesalainen does come in and show that he is ready to play, then that could absolutely free them up to move another forward. And again, Roslovic's the one that kind of stands out as, I think, the most likely to be moved. Yes, if you talk about Line A getting moved and you talk about trade speculation, a lot of people are going to talk about it. But I think Roslovic's the more likely, because they don't need to move Line A yet. And I think if you're going to move Line A, you want to get him when his value's at its highest. And I'm not sure that we're there right now. He has very high value. I'm not sure that we're there, though. Luoto, he's a fill-in. Gustafson, much the same. Mckenzie Perfetti, though a high draft pick this past year, the expectation would not be that Perfetti breaks in with this roster. So he gets time in juniors to ply his craft. And they added Dano as a depth forward for them as well. And Marco Dano has had cups of coffee in the NHL before. And so I don't think the expectation is that Dano's going to step into their fourth line or anything. But again, it does mean for Kevin Cheveldayoff, he has options with this forward group. He has options to move somebody out if he chooses to before the season starts even. Now, you're going to have to move money out to get money in and this kind of thing. But the blue line is where he's going to be looking. So you've got Morrissey, you've got Pionk, Forbert as the top four. He's an asterisk. DeMello. Now, it may not end up being Forbert, but if you're looking on the left side, Beaulieu, Spiza, Heinola. Heinola could be that wild card for them on the blue line, the same as Vesalainen up front. That rookie coming in, European, and maybe Heinola bumps into the top four spot. The interesting thing is, let's say Heinola comes in and bumps into a top four spot for the Jets. That would likely bump down Forbert, right? So then you have Beaulieu and Pullman. Does that push Beaulieu right out of the lineup? Does Biza end up becoming the number 8? And hey, what happens to Niku? There have been rumors tied to Niku and whether or not he's happy in Winnipeg and whether or not Winnipeg has any plans for Sami Niku. For a team that's been pretty successful and has a lot of good young players, they sure do have a lot of rumors about players potentially either wanting out or then maybe wanting to move guys. And Niku's another guy who's in that position. Makes you wonder how much opportunity Heinola is going to get. And this is where I could see criticism maybe being leveled at Maurice that he doesn't play, maybe he doesn't play the kids enough. He doesn't give Laine that shot at the top line, even though Kyle Connor's been absolutely fantastic. I love Kyle Connor's game. I think that while Laine had a really good all-around year this year and he showed a lot of growth, I think Connor's just the better player right now. And then the question that would get asked is, okay, so Connor scored more goals than Laine, but if Laine was on that line, would he have scored more goals than Connor did if Connor was on the second line? And that's where you also get into chemistry. One thing that you have to remember is that players don't always have great chemistry with their centers. I think Laine, you know, and I don't want to say anything bad about Brian Little because I think he's a good center, but I think that was Laine's concern, was playing with Little. Now bringing in Stastny in part is so that Laine has a center playing with him that can keep up with him offensively. Stastny coming off of a year in Vegas that wasn't optimal, and Vegas, a team that needed to free up cap space in order to sign everybody, because that's what Vegas does. Stastny was the one that ends up going the other way and being out of Vegas and coming back to Winnipeg. I really think that they may end up having to raid their forward group in a trade in order to add to the blue line. And then the question becomes one of, so who's available? Now, an obvious, to me, would be Minnesota. Minnesota's usually a division rival. May not be this year if we have the Canadian division and the 3 American divisions, right? But to me, it's almost a natural fit that you would look to add Dumba if Minnesota's willing to make that move. Or even Susie, somebody else on the blue line, because I think it would be an upgrade for Winnipeg. And then you would be adding a talented forward. Maybe a Roslovic would fit in Minnesota. And maybe he'd get more of a chance with Minnesota than what he's getting in Winnipeg. And he can play forward, he can play center, he can play on the wing. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. I think Bill Guerin would be very interested. The one spot you do not have to worry about the Jets is Connor Hellebuyck and the goaltending. Brossoit is the backup. Brossoit didn't have a great season, but he's back again. Comrie is there as the number 3. And Berdina is there as the number 4. I mean, I have some, obviously there's concern if you're a Jets fan if Hellebuyck, God forbid, actually got hurt. If Hellebuyck got hurt, you would see panic stations, and rightfully so, from Jets fans. Because I don't know that I would trust Brossoit to run the net for a while. And if it's Brossoit and Comrie, you're going to be stuck crossing your fingers a lot. I honestly thought that Winnipeg going into the offseason would make some sort of an upgrade on their goaltending. I guess the options for Cheveldayoff weren't ones that interested him. Or he has faith that Brossoit is going to have a bounce back year. And maybe he does. But again, Hellebuyck, you need to wrap him in bubble wrap when he's off the ice. Or, warm-ups. Because again, if anything happens to Hellebuyck, the Jets are kind of hosed. They'll score goals. They'll be entertaining. They're going to be fast. This is going to be a really fun team to watch. But this part of the team, this blue line, this is where there needs to be a fix. And I'm talking a legit, top 4 defenseman, because I like Morrissey, I like Pionk, and I think DeMello's underrated, but I'm not sold on Forbert, even though I think Forbert is also somewhat underrated. But we'll see what they do. So is this what the lineup's going to look like on opening night for the Jets, or will we see some other changes in between now and when the season gets started? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.